Well, hi, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. I'm back. Oh, my. Well, nothing was wrong. Everything, I just needed a little break and a little time, and I thought, with so much going on, I think everybody needs a little break. And so I went back and pulled out some of my older crochet tutorials and found the tutorial part, and I thought, well, let me share some of this. I like to look back sometimes and just see how we have progressed and how things have changed and how I have changed. Oh, older and fluffier. So while I was doing that, I thought about, as many people are right now in this season that we're in, maybe vacation is just out of the question, or going somewhere. Sometimes it just pays to just be safe and just be put. So I thought to myself, well, why don't you just make an imaginary vacation? Remember, Jay, when you did take vacations? And so I came up with this. It's an old stitch that I've used before in some older crochet projects, and I thought, let me see what I can do to make it look new. So this is Jay's pretty seashells on the beach wrap. Now, if that can't take you to the beach, I don't know what can. Look, I even went back and got some of my old seashells. Oh my gosh. So this is just a really simple stitch. Like I said, I've used it before years ago, but I just want to do something different. What the great thing about this seashell wrap is the stitch, of course, but there's really no gauge or no size. I'm going to take you step by step on how I do my crochets, the very simple ones. Now, there are times when I have to, change up, but when it's real simple, I'm going to take you step by step. You can use any yarn. It depends on your climate. I got tired of trying to tell people, well, this yarn and I use this. Well, there's different climates all over the world. I think like in Australia, isn't it wintertime? Don't they have snow or something? I'm thinking, oh my God. Oh my gosh, in other places. And you think about all the people who live on the islands, Bermuda and all in the Bahamas and Belize. And, so telling people, okay, use this and that. This one, I'm going to show you how to go into your own stash and choose the right yarn, and you just get the appropriate needle, or the needle you want to, hook. I've been knitting too, people, but hook that will work for you. So, all right, you saw the pictures coming in. Now let's take a look. I'm going to just kind of walk you through it, because that's the easiest way. It's too hot for me to stand up and do more than what I can do. Hey, bird. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your time all. Be sure to look at the camera and say hi. Okay, so we'll take our beautiful summer flower and we'll just sit it over here somewhere. Now, just looking at it, I think it would be better if I just took it and spread it out on the counter like this. And then I'm going to pull it across so that you can see. In fact, let me come back and so I can really lay it out good for you. This is a keeper. Back in just a moment. All right, I got it stretched out a little better here on the counter. So as you can see, this is like a very shallow. It's not a deep, but you can make it as I'm going to give you a suggestion, but you can go as long as you want to go. The first thing, what's so great about this one is we start at the very top. We start with the length. I'm really short, and I've always had a problem with wearing the V-style, any kind of shawl or wrap or anything like that, because by the time I start at the little point and go up to where I really need it on my shoulders and bust and back and all of that, where all the fluff is too, then I just don't have, it's overwhelming. It's too long. So I started doing where I can, when I can, or if I find a stitch, where I work from. We work from the top. And of course, I'm going to turn it around once we start working. But we'll start at the top and work down. And while we're working down, we will be decreasing, we'll be decreasing just a few stitches to take down the side, the number of repeats. See how it just gently goes down. And then you can stop anywhere you want. If you're tall, you're going to stop, you're going to go a little longer. Me, this one's about, I meant to stop at 16, but I was watching something on TV, I guess, so I went 18. So 18 turned out great. But you're just looking at something very simple. And like I said, the hardest part is not to fall asleep when you do the stitch, because it's just the same stitch over and over. But here it is. I just want you to see how it looks. We will be doing the treble crochet, very easy. I don't know what they call it in the UK, but treble is, of course, being here in the South, when I was taught how to crochet in Vacation Bible School, we had the single crochet, the double crochet. Well, then the old ladies, the ladies, they just call this the triple crochet. So you may hear me go say triple because that's what I'm used to. But I'll say treble to start out. I'll try to say treble. But you can see, it's just very simple. And like I said, once you see the stitch, you say, oh, Jay, yeah, I remember that. I know that stitch. But as you can see, we just will decrease down the edge to the length we want. And then just stop it. That's it. Then I'm going to go back and we'll put, I wanted a nice little band. I was going to do the crab stitch, but I worked it and it was too stiff. So I pulled that back and I just simply did a extended single crochet. You can do a regular crochet or an extended crochet, single crochet right here at the top. Or you can make up your own. Make up something else you might like. What you think of that? So, it's so easy. I'm just trying to think of things to talk about because we're going to get right into the stitch. So I'll pull this along so you can kind of see. And wait till you see how simple I share with you how to measure, how to make your size. So it's just really like a long, almost rectangle, except for where, and let's get on over to this end since I showed you the other end. See, now there's the other end right there. I hope I'm on camera. And you can see how it just comes. What do you think of that? Can I pull it on? A little more. And of course, you can end with a tassel. I normally put fringe. Sometimes I will add a shawl charm just to brighten it up. Alright, let me get set up so that I can share with you how we're going to do this simple, pretty seashell on the beach wrap. Alright, back in just a moment. Okay, let's get started. First thing you need to do is go back to your stash, like I said, and decide the appropriate yarn for your climate and for the weather that you're having. And it can be anything. It can be very thin yarn if you like to do very thin stitches. It can be, of course, medium like I'm going to use, or something a little heavier. It depends on, like I said, the season you're in. And, of course, pick the appropriate hook or hook that you like, that you feel comfortable working the yarn in. So this is a stash buster. You don't need but at least one or two good skeins of at least probably one skein of 200 yards, 200 plus yards would probably make this little wrap. Like I say, it's not like a huge shawl, but it is a nice wrap. I'm going to use a eye hook. It's just my standard hook. If I wanted to go large, of course, I'd go up to a J, but I'm just going to use an eye hook on this. And as you can see, I've got some pretty little a regular yarn that I just got from my stash just to make this sample. You pick and choose what you want. That's how easy. You can even do this in threads for people that like to go that small. Alright, so are you ready? Alright, the first thing I need to do is tell you how we're going to fit, to fit your body. There's sometimes, most times you do work a repeat by the multiple of the stitch. Well, when I'm doing something like this, I just don't even go through all that. I just simply do a long chain. I do a very long chain. And then I take it to my mirror and I put it around my neck or around my shoulders and I see how it falls. If it falls right, maybe a little above my waist, I know that the stitch is going to eat up a lot of yarn, so you want to go longer. It's best to go longer. All we're doing is making a long chain. You're not going to waste the yarn. We can use the yarn to do fringe or anything else. So you have this huge chain of crochet chains, and you just continue to go. Now I'm just going to, we're having a little thunderstorm, that's going to cool everything off. I hope it don't turn out our power. So as you can see, I'm just making a sample chain, and I have another sample over here that I'll switch to once we work some. But as you can see, I always say chain more than you need and add another 10 inches. Because you will not, it's better to have extra chains at the end. And guess what? You're not counting. And then I don't have to try to figure out all these different sizes and all that. Or if you were making this for someone else and you're not sure, you can just kind of make a chain and kind of hold it up to you and say, I think this will fit that person. Just real easy. So I'm just going to chain a few more than what I need on this little sample. Let me just check my camera one more time. I don't have to be too close because most people know crochet. How to crochet. Alright, so let's go a few more, because I want to make sure you know how to turn. The only thing is learning how to turn on this little stitch to get the scallop. So I'm going to put my little ball of yarn back there. Could let Bird hold it, but alright, so are you ready? Okay. With whatever hook you're going to use, I'm using an eye in the fourth chain from the hook. So just simply count 1, 2, 3, 4 in the fourth chain from the hook. I'm going to do a treble. Okay? And everybody knows, most people know a treble. You're going to wrap twice. Yarn over once, yarn over twice, stop, go into the fourth hook, fourth chain. Now, I like to hold mine at the bottom down here to keep that from growing so large. And then I'm just going to pull through the first 2 loops, pull through the second 2, and pull through the third set of loops. So I guess that's where the name treble. Alright, so I have, with the edge here and the one, I have 2. So I want to do it again. I want to make 3. So yarn over once, yarn over again, go back into that same chain, and we're just going to do the treble stitch. Don't go too fast yet. Go through 2, stop, go through the next 2, and go through the last 2. I'm going to have to put this yarn somewhere else. It's getting on my nerve. So now I wind up with like 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now I want to chain 2. 1, 2. I'm trying to get, you're going to be doing the same steps. Chain 2. And let me just make sure so that once we switch, I'm going to put this number 1 here. I'm going to lay 1 right here. I don't know if you can't see it by Brew. How about if we lay it right over there? Number 1. This is row 1. So you can tell the difference between 1 and 2. Alright, so after I chain 2, after that last treble, alright, normally I would go back but into this same chain right there. But on the first row, unless you're working in the bumps, some people like to work in the bumps. I'm just, I'm old school, and this is the way we were taught in Vacation Bible School. The mothers of the church taught us. Alright, I'm going to go into this chain right next to that to the one I'm in. So I'm going to treble again. After that chain 2, I do another treble, but in the next chain right next to it, on this first row here. And then I go through 2, go through, oops. It's a little humid. If you mess up, take it out. It is really humid here. Real humid. See, my yarn won't even hardly go over my hook. Alright, so now this is what you will have. You will have something that looks like this. I've got the beginning, the 2 trebles, chain 2, and then the 3rd treble in the chain right next to the one at the bottom. Now the next thing you need to do is chain 1. Make sure you do the chain 1. Now we're just going to repeat mode. Alright, I'm going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the next chain I'm going to do 3 trebles. 1, wrap twice. Ooh, it's so humid. 2, hold on. That's 2. And then wrap twice again to make it 3. Ooh. Okay, so I have my 3 trebles for the second repeat. Here's the first repeat. Here's the second. And then you have to chain 2. 1, 2. Then you're going to treble in the next chain. Not in that one which already has that big old hole. We're going to move over 1 chain and put the treble stitch there. And as soon as you make that treble stitch, go ahead and chain 1 so you won't forget. Chain 1. Now, this is what we have. You recognize it right away. There may be a name for this little stitch. You use it all the time in Afghans. Remember, I got my start in Afghans when I used to do, but they were very simple Afghans. Alright, let's go again. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, and here we go. Let me just drop this on the floor. Sometimes trying to be neat on the camera can waste a lot of time. So in that same chain, I'm going to do my next treble. My problem is I got to fall asleep and wind up doing a double because I very seldom use treble or triple. Now I'm going to go into triple. Okay, so I have 2, so I need to do another one, 1 more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then I chain. Can you see it? Now I'm simply going to chain 2. 1, 2. That makes the little V, that space, and we will need that on the next row to work in. Okay, so now I chain 2. Now I'm going to do a treble, but I'm not going into that hole. See how I pulled it open? I'm going to go into the chain right next to it. Just like that. Remember, this is row 1. Now chain 1 right away so you won't forget. Alright, I have the beginning repeat right here. Then repeat in the middle, number 2. And then here's number 3. Now, we're going to work across because you have a long chain. But I want to get towards the end so I can share with you how to turn. So we are working row 1 where we're simply putting in these treble stitches across your long row. Alright, you work and I will be back to show you how to end the first row number 1. Alright, so you're working across a very long chain. Now, before you do anything, before you even think about moving on to the next row, you need to take your chain, your long chain, go to your mirror again. It's just all by just hanging it around your neck to see where it falls, or around your shoulders to see where it falls on your body, where the ends fall. And you can tell probably right away, ooh, that's too short, because most people are not used to making a long chain. They think they, so you can see right away. A lot of times, just to get myself, to make sure I have enough, I will chain from one knee up and around my neck and back down to the opposite knee. Just make a long chain. But go ahead and with what you've done so far, hang it around your neck, around your shoulders, and see if you need to continue on with the repeat. If you made a long chain, you're going to have lots of extra chain, so you don't have anything but you do repeat. But if not, then you've got to stop and pull out. Okay, but let me make sure I'm on camera. So we're going to get ready, and we're going to get ready to, let's see, which one? I think I need to go, make sure I go that way a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna turn and make the first decrease, and that's at the end of row 1. So I've already gone to my mirror. I've made some extra chain. I've done some extra repeats. I didn't have enough. I thought I did. This, you just walk yourself through this part, and if not, you just pull out and have to make some more chains. But long chains really. It's really nice that you don't have to do all the count. We hadn't counted a thing so far. Except what the 2 little chains between. Alright, so when I get to the end, now we need to know how to stop. How to stop this repeat. And like I said, even on my little sample, I'm going to leave some chains. On your long chain, you should have chains left. A lot of these chains should be left at the end, which I'll show you what how to get rid of them later at the end of the project. Alright, so I've already gone as far as I wanted to go on my little sample, and I did exactly what I've done all the way across. See that? I don't have to count. I don't have to do anything. You can count if you want to, but, try to count all, see what numbers you have. That's good. It's no problem. But when I get to the end and I know that I'm ready to stop the repeats, stop row 1. All right. And go into row 2. Row 2 is when I'll just change row 1 and put in my 2. This is row 2. Okay, so now I'm going to, at the very end, I'm going to chain 1 stitch, turn the work. See that? Now I need to make the decrease. I'm going to do a simple decrease. You see these 3 triples right here. When I turn the work, the first 3 triples, not this space, but the triples. I'm going to go all the way over to the first triple and do a slip stitch into that first triple or treble. Then there's a second one, so I'm going to go into it and slip stitch. This is going to decrease it. You only have to do this type of decrease this first time. Then go into the third one and pull it through. Now I have sealed off the first repeat right there. It's sealed. See, it's almost like we bind off in when we knit, but it's sealed off. Now right here, there's the upcoming repeat right there. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. See that? Now in the large space where we have the chain 2, it's a chain 2 space. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3 trebles, and then the 4th one kind of hangs off, kind of at an angle. In that space there, we're going to repeat the stitch. Yarn over twice, go into the space, and I'm going to do 1, 2, oops, and I'm going to put 3 trebles in that space. Let me get it all the way and then I'll show you. Okay, so now you see in the space I have 3 trebles. Alright, well now I need to chain 2, 1, 2, and I need to put that 4th one, the one that's kind of slants. So I chain 2, now I'm going to wrap twice, go back into that same large space, and I'm going to put the extra treble right there and chain 1 so I won't forget. look, we have decreased, or we have counted down, kind of in a stair-step type decrease. We've taken this one out of play. Now we're up here. Now I'm going to repeat, going across my sample row. You have a long row. This is row 2, where we're going in the opposite direction, and we've done our first decrease. Go to all the way over to the next repeat. From here all the way over to here, and I want this space right there. 1, 2, 3 space, and then you have this. I want that space. So we're going to put in, you start with 3 trebles as we've been doing. 1. Wow, so humid. I can't even get my yarn to go over my needle. Okay. Wrap twice. 2. And I need 3 trebles in that space. There's my 3 trebles. Now chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to put the 4th one in that same space. Wrap twice and put the 4th and chain 1. Now you can see how they're leaning and going the opposite direction. Alright, so now you're going to work across. We need to work across. Of course, you have a long. Let me do one more. I enjoy this so much. I just have to remember not to do a treble and not a double crochet. Wrap twice. Go in. I need 3 to start. This is some yucky yarn, but that's okay. So I have my 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, so that it forms that kind of V-like stitch, and go back into that same space and put the last one. So it's really 4 all together. Chain 1. So you see I have 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then the last one right there. Now, of course, you're going to work all the way across until we get back to this end, so that we can decrease on this end, and then we're not going to say really, is it going to be 1? You can go back, you can say 1. I guess we'll go back to 1. It's 1 and 2, 1 and 2. All right, so continue across, take your time, and I will see you as we get close, so I can show you how to decrease on this end. On this long chain. It may seem like, oh Jay, this seems like, after a while, once you ever do it like this, a lot of things I just get done a lot quicker. There are times when you have to do the multiple on things, especially if you're working on certain patterns, but this is a free-for-all. That's what it is. It's a free-for-all. Back in just a moment. Alright, so now you should have taken your piece of fabric up to a mirror. You know that you have the length that you want for this one, and if not, you can make this as your prototype, and then you'll know the next one. That's why we're using stuff out of our stash and not the expensive yarn. Just something that you can just see how you like it. And like I said, you can make this for anyone. Alright, so now we're working across, and this is the wrong side. I didn't say that, but it's row 2. And we're working to this end of the long chain, so I can show you how to decrease and turn. So at the end of row 2, I see that I have worked across, and I see one last repeat. See that repeat there? Here's a repeat I just finished working in, and I can see this one kind of hanging off the end. You see that repeat? Okay, we're not going to work that whole repeat. After I finish up this repeat, chain 1, now I'm going to stretch all the way over. See that triple that's leaning? and it makes this hole. See this one? That's where we're going to do a slip stitch into that stitch at the top, or you can do a single crochet. Sometimes I just forget to slip stitch. I don't slip stitch a lot. I'll just do a single crochet, but you can slip stitch, single crochet. All I need you to do is connect in that stitch, not in the hole, and not these 3 trebles. See, I have 3 trebles left, which kind of makes it match this end. We're trying to make it match as much as possible. Okay, and I'll show you later what we'll do. All right, so now once I slip stitch or do a single crochet in the top of that stitch, that treble, I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. All right, and I turn the work. Once I turn the work, you may as well say we're back on row 1, just to keep things, so that you can kind of keep things that you can follow. So now I'm back at row 1. This is what you will have. You'll have where we just chained 3, and if you pull open the stitch, you can see the next repeat. There's that funny treble that leans. There's the space that we're going to work in right there. And then there's a 1, 2, 3. So I'm back in business. I wrap twice. Now you might say, well, how come you could have chained 4, but it really doesn't matter, because we're trying to decrease. We're trying to pull the stitch over. So 3 is fine. Chain the 3. Then I start my trebles in that space again. You always do the 3 for this particular project. That's 2. Now here comes the 3rd treble. Chain 2. 1, 2. See, now I'm back in business, doing the same thing. Now watch. Then I have to wrap twice after the chain 2, and I make the last treble and chain 1. And so now we have decreased on this side so that it looks like a step, just like we did on this edge. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you remember the steps. That's all that matters. Hold on. That's so good about crocheting. You can just... Okay, so now I look for the next repeat way over there. So I'm going to wrap the yarn twice, and I start out again on that long chain. I just kept working that chain. I thought, oh Lord, am I ever going to get done? But see, each row, I did a double crochet. Some of y'all probably caught I did a double crochet in that other row. I wasn't going to say anything. Because I hardly ever do working trebles. So wrap twice, and we're just going to go ahead and do this. And then the next part, I can pretty much just talk you through it, share it with you what we're going to do, and show you anything a little extra. There's the 3 that I need to start. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, 1, 2. See, everything's the same. Then go back into that same space and do that extra treble, so that I have 4 altogether, but I have that big space. So we have decrease, so we have a little step. That's how you. Now I'm going to work all the way across on row 1. And I'll come back one more time, maybe, I don't know, to show you how, just remind you how to decrease on this end. So I'm going to work across, make it short, and then I'll be back. I'll show you how to do row 2 again. Row 1 is the right side, row 2 is the wrong side, in case you hadn't figured that out yet. Alright, so now we're working across. You got a long chain. As we get closer to this side, I'm going to show you how to decrease one more time, just to make sure you got it. How about that? Alright, back in just a moment. Alright, so you've worked across your long chain, and you say, okay, Jay, I can see the last repeat coming up. You see it kind of hangs off there. This is a repeat I just worked in. See it? Now, when I see the last repeat, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. After you chain 1 up here, you finish that repeat, and you chain 1. Now stretch all the way over to the triple or treble that leans. See, it leans, the one that's leaning. And you go in there and you do a slip stitch or single crochet. Like I said, most time I just do a single crochet because that's quick to me. I have to think to do a slip. Once I connect, and you see it's left uncrocheted. See, now I made another step. Step 1, step 2, okay? So now all I have to do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't want 4, 4, make it too loosey-goosey. So when I turn, we are back to row 2, the wrong side. Okay? And row 2, once I chain 3, see the chain 3? Now look for the next hole in the next repeat. Here's the next repeat. Here's the hole I want to work in. Back again, wrap twice. I need 3 trebles to start. Oh, we had a big thunderstorm. Wow, I'm telling you, things were rocking over here. Now it just quieted down and just left like that. Oh, but it is humid. Okay, now you see. So now I'm going to chain, after I do the 3 trebles, I'm going to chain 2, get back in the same pattern. Then I do the last one. Wrap twice and chain 1 to stop. So this is what you're going to have. Now I have 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. And as we go across 2, I will get over here, work this one, and do the same thing here. Connect with a stitch, a slip stitch or a single crochet, chain 3, and start working back. And your steps. And each step will be a decrease. Can you see that? Let me just kind of get this yarn out of the way. Can you see how that works? See if I've got a good picture of that on my camera. Yep. I can pull in a little bit. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to come back and show you, tell you some other information and kind of walk you through the next part. All right, take your time. You got a long chain. You're going to thank me when it's over. All right, back in just a minute. All right, my friends, so after a nice break and a nice rain shower we had, and you've been working right along, I went ahead and made this little extra sample so I don't have to try to use the big one so you can see what I have. So when we started, the main thing is to remember where we started down here, this is really the neck. So now, once you keep working back and forth, decreasing back and forth, whatever, to however many inches you want this direction. You may want, if you're short, you may just want 16 inches. I just went ahead and did 18. I wasn't thinking. But you can go as long as you want. You just measure the length here. Okay, once you get to a length, you see something inside, or you take it to your mirror. See, this kind of work, you take it to your mirror, because everyone can make this in any yarn, any weight, anything. That's how you decide. So now when you get that point and you're ready to stop everything, then this is how it looks when I turn it the right side, where see, here's the neck up here. Here's the top. And down here, we've just decreased. Now, on this little sample, it showed up quite a bit, so I had to make sure. I didn't count to make sure that I had the exact number of decreases on this side, but I'm going to show you how it should work out, or you need to make it work out. So here I go. I had working back and forth, decreasing on each end as I went. I saw that I had 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and then 1, 2, 3. So I had to make 4 on this side. So I just kept going, working just like I was working. Now I'm going to move this over a little bit. So at the very end, here I am. You can see my yarn still attached. I put a little marker. Let me take this marker off now, just to hold my thread so I wouldn't lose my loop, because it kept jumping. I kept losing my little loop. Okay, so now there's my loop, and I see that I have I had 4 on this side, so naturally when I got ready to end my whole shawl now, this is just a little sample, and I needed 1, 2, 3, I needed one more to make this. So I simply did exactly. I went into, I finished the repeat here. Then on this one, I actually went into the hole again. I went back into the hole like I was doing. And you can see I have 1, 2, 3. Because if I had gone into the stitch and chain 3, then I would have had to go up. You see what I'm saying? It would have made another step. I wanted to stop the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I actually went into the space so I could stop the step. See? Made the repeat. Now I'm just simply going to chain 1, turn it, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to that first treble right there, and I'm going to just do a slip stitch, pull it good and tight. Well, you don't, yeah, okay. Pull it good and tight, cut it, and of course pull it through. That's going to make it, that seals it off and gives it that nice little curve to match the other side. Let me turn it around now. I'm sorry, I'm flipping. Okay, so now I have a nice little step to end that top. Here's it. Here's the little curve edge on this side. See, it's just all about, you know, we didn't have all this YouTube. We didn't have any of that. Remember, I'm from the 60s, the 70s, you know. We had the ladies of the church, and most of them couldn't see, and, you know. So we were just learning on the fly, and then you just learn as you grow. So I just looked at this to see what I could do to make this one match. And that's what I came up with, and it works fine. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. Now, the next thing, I would, once you finish all your little repeats, I would go ahead and, you know, kind of sew in all my little end tails or whatever. Just get them out of the way if you have a lot. But we're going back up to the neck now. We're going up to the top. This is the top. And I suggest that you steam just a little bit if you can. You know, don't overdo it on the wrong side of the fabric. I always steam on the wrong side just so that it's smooth and I can work from, because we're going to put the little border. The little border, I simply just wherever the very first stitch or place you can connect, you see that? I'm over here at the top now, and I'm going however you connect. I just usually put a loop around my hook, draw it through there, and then I pull, drop the little tail. If I had a little tail, I can drop that. Ooh, so wow. Then I just chain 1 just to seal that off, and now I'm going to start single crochet. You can either single crochet or the extended single crochet in each stitch as much as possible across. It's going to make a whole bunch of stitches, but I'm going to show you how to get rid of them later. Let's go ahead and, so I've got it connected, slip stitch or a single crochet, chain 1. Now I'm going into the next stitch right next to it, and if you do the extended, you know, you go through and you pull up a loop, stop, go through the first loop, stop, then go through the next 2. That's an extended single crochet. Then I go ahead and go into the next stitch. You try to hit as many stitches as you can. Go into the first loop if you're doing an extended one, and then stop and go through the both. Okay, I look for the next one. And you can go down a hook size too if you feel like. I can go faster, Jay, if I go down. Now don't wrap, just go into the stitch to make it like you're doing a single crochet. And you can do that, and then go there. But if that's too slow for you, you go, oh, that's cute, it's cute, but whew, yeah, I don't know. If you'd rather just do a single crochet, you just go in and come through like this. Either way is going to be fine. But just try to get all your, if you rather do that, you're doing single crochet all the way across or the extended single crochet. I know now, we older. Some of that followed me, a lot of people that followed me, we're now older. We can't see a lot of that little stuff anymore. Hey, we're doing good just to, hey, still rolling, still kicking. Okay, and then you try to make up a place if you see that, okay, like you're not sure, you don't care, you just want to get across. You want a nice edge so when we come back, the second row, it's a lot smoother. So if I stay in this single crochet all the way across, then all I have to do is, when I get to the end, chain one turn and come back all the way across on this side, so that I'll have a row going and a row coming back, and you'll be back on this end, and we'll get ready to stop. Seal everything off. So if you rather just do the single, that's fine. We just want a nice smooth edge. Just try to get your stitches. Try to find a place to put that crochet hook. But when we come back, that's what I got to tell you. I'm going to show you how, because what you're going to see, okay, let me stop because I can't talk in. All right, so now you get the just. Okay, so if you can steam a little bit to kind of have it laying flat, that's fine, so you can see the stitches better. You can either single crochet or the extended single crochet all the way to this end. When you get to this end, go all the way to the last stitch possible. When you turn the work coming back, okay, this is where, now I think I will switch to the, well, let me show you first. All right, you're going to have a lot of stitches, and if you put this around your neck and thing, you're going to say, ooh, Jay, the neck is terrible. That's because we have a lot of stitches, so we need to get rid of stitches. So what I did, I think I will show it on the original. To make this neck, whether you use single crochet or the extended one, or just a regular single. All right, what I did, I took the first, about the first 8 inches, about first, maybe 10 inches. I'd say about the first 10 inches, see that? And I did it plain, a single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. This is if you go on across, now you're coming back. You're going to single crochet in about the first 8 inches. After the 8 inches or so, you're going to do single crochet, then skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch. Now you're coming up to the body, see? Single crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, all the way across. Single crochet, skip a stitch. You're getting rid of one of the stitches, see? Until you have about 8, or whatever you had on that side, about 8 or 10 inches left on this side coming down. See the end? We want the ends to be nice and long and pretty, but we want to take out some of the stitches all in the body. So when I see I'm about 8 inches, and you can measure, you just kind of eyeball it, whatever, then you just go back into single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. You get to the end and knot off. Now you go back up to, let me switch here. For those that are worried about this end up here, all right, you got all these extra stitches. Well, we're going to put some fringe here on the end, but you still need to just cut some of that off. You can cut down, don't get too close here, but you can cut about 1 inch or 2. I don't know, just cut away from it like that. If you have a lot of chains left, you just pull it out like this. You take the hook or thing and you just lift that loop and it just pops right out, see? You just take that and just pop it out. And it's real long. You can add it, use it like for part of the fringe. See, I'm just pulling this out. See? That's why the long chain always works good for me when I'm doing simple things. And I make my own design, so I'm not having to follow someone else's, where I had to count. I'll look at it and go, hey, I can do that, and I can just not even have to count. Now be careful when you get too close. If you get too close, just pull it tight and go ahead and knot it. It'll knot itself. Just pull it tight. If you see you getting close to the end, see? Now I'll just add this piece in with the fringe. Let me show you here. I didn't feel like making fringe again. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the fringe. Here's the end I just finished. It's a mess, but I am just soaked. Okay. Here's the little end, and here's that leftover yarn. Okay. So I'm going to always find a good place. Now watch. That is not a good place. You see where there's only one piece of yarn there? You can go ahead and strengthen it, but I go and try to go into maybe where I did the little neckband, the little single crochet section. See there? How I'm sticking that in there? And then I will cut my fringe, and you know how to put fringe on, and go through that and pull it through. Trim it just a little bit, don't over trim it. And I do the same for the opposite end. So I have 2 rows of either single crochet or extended single crochet, just to make it easy. But just remember the little trick. 8 to 10 inches up, and then you have to single crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch. That will take stitches out of this body, and then you can go to the mirror and then you can see how it forms. See that? I had me a little mark there just to remind me which was right, which was the right side. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. All right, let me go off camera and I'll come right back, and so we can end this, and that way I can think a minute to see if there's anything else I need to tell you. Back in just a moment. Well, my friends, I hope that you will take a moment and look at this video and share it with someone. And like I say, if you're just not in the mood, or really just not the right time to take a vacation, just do like I did. I just took a vacation in my mind and just walked along the beach, and I came up with this beautiful, pretty seashell beach wrap. And I think, Bird, what do you think of it? And I threw out a few little pearls. You never know, you might find some pearls. and just, hey, we have to make the best of what we have. So this is Jay and Bird, and I thank you so much for joining me. Now for all of those, I just took like I said, I did this little brief session of doing some crocheting, but I am back on to faux swag sweaters. So that will be coming up, and some more charts, some more pretty stitches. So let's roll on with it. I don't know if I'm going to officially call it summer school for stitching, but we'll see. But I do have more faux swag sweaters. So this is Jay again. This is Jay, a Bird. I'll see you when I see you. But stay tuned. More to come. Bye-bye.